Hey guys, hope you're doing well. In today's video we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about keeping guppies. This is going to be my ultimate guppy care guide, which is going to be really good for beginner fish keepers. Guppies are a really good choice of fish to keep, especially when you're new to this hobby. They are quite a hardy species of fish and can adapt to live in a wide range of water parameters. If you're looking for a fish that's going to stand out, guppies will add an instant splash of colour to your aquarium. You can get guppies in a ton of different colours, so there's going to be something there that everyone's going to like. I hope this care guide will help you guys out. With that all being said, let's start our guppy care guide. A great place to start off with is the habitat on which guppies come from. Wild guppies are commonly found in Northeast and South America. They'll be commonly found in Venezuela. However, they can also be found in countries like Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. Because of this, the habitat they're living can vary quite a lot. Guppies can be found living in fast-flowing streams, ponds, ditches and even swamps. Also, wild guppies have been found to living in brackish environments too. With guppies being able to live in a wide range of different environments, it means they can adapt to living in a wide range of different aquariums too. Often in guppy habitats there's a lot of plant growth which provides them with lots of shelter and cover. You should try and keep some live plants in your aquarium to try and replicate the habitat guppies originally come from. This will help to keep your guppies happy and stress free. A fully grown adult guppy can grow to be about 6 cm in length, which is roughly about 2.5 inches. The males tend to be a little bit more slimmer and stay a little bit shorter compared to the females. Female guppies are more likely to reach that 6 cm length and they have a more rounded body appearance to them. On average, guppies will live for 2 to 3 years, but if you look after them well by feeding them high quality food and making sure the water is really clean, they can live to be over 5 years old. It's super easy to tell the difference between male and female guppies. In the background here we've got some male guppies. You can see they've got a really thin colourful body, and that colour also extends onto their fins, which can be quite long flowing depending on the variety of guppy. Now in this background footage we've got some female guppies. You'll notice female guppies have a less colourful body. They tend to have a more of a grey body appearance, but they still have some really nice colour on the fins too. The females are usually bigger and have a more fuller body appearance to them too. You might also see a black spot near the anal fin. This is a gravid spot and it's very common to see on female guppies who are holding fry. Guppies are really peaceful fish. This makes them really good fish to keep in a community aquarium. Occasionally you'll see the males chase after the females, but this is only for a short period of time. To reduce the amount of chasing, I recommend having more females than males in your aquarium. A ratio of 1 male guppy to every 3 female guppies will help to reduce the chasing on the females. I find guppies are really hungry fish, so often they'll be scavenging around the tank to find food. You'll see them pecking around the tank just to find any extra little bit of food that might be lying around. Guppies are the least fussiest fish to feed in my experience. In the wild, guppies will eat small insects like mosquito larvae. This is why guppies are also known as mosquito fish. As dry food options go, flake and pellet foods are always a good choice. You can also supplement your guppy's diet by feeding them live food or frozen food too. Bloodworms and brine shrimp are a really good choice. If you can keep the diet a little bit varied, it will help to keep them more healthier in the long run. The colours of your guppies may also intensify if you feed them a good diet. With guppies not growing that big, you don't need to have a massive aquarium to keep them in. A good size aquarium to keep guppies in will be about 18 litres or 5 US gallons. Just like with any fish, the more space you can give them, the happier they're going to be in the long run. Since guppies can breed really often, you can grow a colony of guppies quite quickly. As your colony of guppies starts to grow, you'll need to keep them in a bigger tank to keep them more happy. A good upgrade for them will be a 36 litre aquarium or a 20 US gallon aquarium. When it comes to water parameters, guppies aren't too fussy at all. Since they do come from a variety of habitats and are commercially tank bred, this means they're really adaptable to living in a lot of different water conditions. Let's start off with the temperature you should be keeping your guppies at. Guppies can live in a temperature range between 17 to 28 degrees Celsius. In Fahrenheit, that's roughly 63 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. In terms of pH, you're aiming between 6.5 and 8.5. It's best to try and aim for a pH of 7 for guppies if you can. For your water hardness, guppies can survive in soft water to very hard water. In my experience, I noticed guppies do better in harder water compared to softer water. But overall, guppies are really good at adapting to a wide range of different water conditions. If you acclimate them carefully and slowly, they should be able to live in your aquarium water just fine. Like I mentioned earlier, guppies are really peaceful fish, so this makes them really good for community aquariums. They do really well with other peaceful fish like rasboras, tetras, corridors and even shrimp. When it comes to shrimp, they'll leave the adult shrimp alone, but they may go for the baby shrimps in your aquarium. You should avoid keeping guppies with fin nipping fish. Some examples of fin nipping fish are like your tiger bobs and your serpate tetras. Since many varieties of guppies have very long flowing fins, this does make them a target for these kind of fish. I would also recommend not keeping them with betters either. Again, because of their long colourful flowing fins, a better may mistake the guppy for another better. This may lead the better to nip the fins of your guppies, leading to long term damage. Some people have kept betters and guppies together, but it all depends on the temperament of the better. I personally don't think it's worth taking the risk, so I don't keep guppies and betters together. Breeding guppies is super easy, you don't need to put any effort in at all. They're a really good fish for beginner fish keepers who want to start breeding their aquarium fish. If you want to breed guppies for yourself, I recommend putting a ratio of 1 male to every 3 females. This will increase the amount of fry you get and hopefully more of them will reach adulthood. The reason why guppies are easy to breed is because they're live bearers, which means they'll give birth to live fry. Once the eggs have become fertilised inside the female, they'll gestate for 4 to 6 weeks. During this time, the fry will grow and mature inside the female. You'll notice a dark spot near the female's anal fin. This is a gravid spot and it indicates that the eggs inside the female are gestating. On average, a female guppy can give birth to 5 to 100 fry. Once the fry are born, they are free swimming and they will start to look for food all over your aquarium. Adult guppies will go for the fry, so if you want to ensure their survival, you should move them to a different aquarium. Guppy fry aren't fussy eaters. I've seen them feed on finely crushed pellet food, but if you want them to grow really quickly, I recommend feeding them baby brine shrimp. Baby brine shrimp is packed with protein, which will help with their growth rate. I find that it takes about a month to a month and a half for guppy fry to start to develop their colours. If you keep their water clean and give them high quality food, their growth rate will increase. The price of guppies can vary quite a lot. Just like with betters, guppies come in many different colours and different kinds of finish too. The rarer the variety of guppy, the higher the cost is going to be. But since a lot of guppies are commercially bred, the price for them can be quite low. On average, male guppies sell for about £1.50 and females sell for £1. So in dollars, that will roughly cost about $2 per male, and then for a female it will cost about $1.32. I have seen some very fancy guppy varieties sell for about £50 a pair, which more experienced fish keepers might go for. If you are a new fish keeper, I recommend you stay away from these fancy varieties as it could be a very costly mistake. If you start off with the cheaper guppies and gain more experience keeping them, you can then eventually upgrade your guppies. With guppies being relatively cheap, it's a really good entry level fish for new fish keepers to keep. In this last section, I just want to give you guys a little bit more information about guppies. To get all these amazing different colours of guppies, they have been bred quite intensively. When fish are bred intensely, this can weaken their genetics. This can then lead to the fish becoming less hardy. So when you're picking out your guppies, try and find a good source. Quite a common reason why guppies might die quite quickly is because they come from a really weak genetic stock. Ask your local fish shop where they get their guppies from. From my experience, if you can get guppies that are bred in your country, they're more likely to be way hardier. Sometimes the guppies that are bred in big commercial fish farms are a little bit less hardy compared to the homebred ones. But this is just my opinion, it can be different for you guys depending on what country you're from. One more note I'd like to mention is that some people say that guppies are really good for cycling an aquarium. Although they're hardy fish, I wouldn't recommend them to cycle a new aquarium. When a new aquarium sets up, the water parameters can fluctuate quite a lot, so this could stress out the guppies. I recommend trying the fisher cycle method as this will stop any stress on your fish. If you guys are interested, I can make a video on how to fisher cycle your aquarium if you want. Leave a comment below and let me know if I should make this video. That's the end of my guppy care guide. Hope you guys found this video interesting and learned everything you need to know on how to keep guppies. I've always enjoyed keeping guppies, they're really low maintenance and full of colour. Let me know in the comments if you guys keep guppies and what kind of colours of guppies you got. If you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate it if you can give it a like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos.